Hey, what's up, everybody? This is Charles Savance, and welcome you guys to another episode of the DREAMERSPRO show, where we cover everything from sports, hot topics, classic debates, entertainment, and we give you guys a fresh perspective on things and how we see them. And today we have a pretty serious report here that we want to get to. But before we get into it, please make sure you like the video and subscribe to the channel. So, over the summer, we got the news that Charles Barkley, Shaq, Kenny, and these guys were going to be joining ESPN. And at the time that happened, a lot of people were skeptical, including myself, of this relationship even working, because ESPN has a reputation, and we know the reputation of Charles and those guys. Those guys are real, they're candid. That's the reason you see them get into such fiery arguments. You don't see that on ESPN because everybody's just twerking it up all day long, right? So when we got the word that he was going to be playing for the signing with ESPN, people were speculating. Even Bill Simmons was like, are these guys going to ruin inside the NBA? But as the season started, we began to get their schedule, and we found out they would be on TV occasionally. And I said to myself, what is this? Right? And to be quite frank with you, on the episodes that they have been together, they haven't really made much news. Well, it seems like Charles Barkley is beginning to grow frustrated with this partnership that they have here, and he's making his feelings known. And there's some articles that we want to read from here. One of them is from Yahoo Sports article, and it says, Charles Barkley reveals he's complained to ESPN about inside the NBA schedule change. And there's another one from, I think, Talk Sports. Charles Barkley calls out ESPN over inside the NBA while daring network to fire him in brutal, honest verdict. So let's read through these articles. First one from Yahoo Sports continues on. Inside the NBA's move to ESPN has drawn a myriad of responses from fans, in great part due to the show's new schedule. Since the season's premiere last fall, the series hasn't aired as frequently as it did when it was on TNT. Instead of airing weekly, the beloved talk show has cropped up more sporadically in recent months. Needless to say, fans haven't been shy about sharing their discontent with the change. Now, co-host Charles Barkley is speaking out, as well as given prior comments Barkley shared. This new take is somewhat surprising. Ahead of Inside the NBA's new season, Barkley shared his hopes for his professional future at ESPN. The longtime broadcaster said he did not want a greater workload under his new employee, citing his age as the reason for that. Barkley is singing a somewhat different tune after a few months working with Disney, though. The round mound of rebound appeared on the Dan Le Batard show and revealed that while the transition has been great, he and others complained to the bosses about their lighter schedule. Let me just read through some of his comments here. We complained. We've only been on ESPN, I think, 4 times in 3 months. We did like the first 2 weeks. We were off all of the December until Christmas. We were off all of January until the 24th, and I don't like that at all. What I was talking about, working all the time, because I love watching basketball. I'm not going to do all these damn shows. I'm not going to be on ESPN 1, 2, 3, Deportes, Nachos, Echo, whatever they call it. I'm not going to be doing all that, but I wish we had been on more during the first half of the season. And then it starts. He says there's another part where he says they're going to start making up all these days, but I wish in December we only worked one day. Dan, that was Christmas Day, and we're only working one day in January. I wish we had worked more, because it's been great. These guys at ESPN had been great, but like I say, we all know we'll know more after get schedule heavy, blah, 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 blah. So you heard what he said there. Let me read from another article here. Charles Barkley calls out. Okay, so let's get to this point. It said the former NBA star has only been employed by the network for just over a year, but is already threatening the network to fire him. The 62-year-old has been outspoken his entire career, but amid Inside the NBA switch to ESPN from TNT, Barkley's frustration appears to have hit a boiling point. In a guest appearance on the Dan Le Batard show, Barkley fired shots at the network for their decision not to use the Inside the NBA crew as regularly as TNT had in past years. We've complained. We've only been on ESPN 4 times in 3 months. I don't like it at all. What I was talking about was working all the time because I love watching basketball. I'm not going to be doing all these damn shows. And then he says, then we're going to get to this part. And we're only working one day in January, basically, and I wish we had more. As it stands, Inside the NBA is now set to be on the schedule 15 times through April. And then continues on. Barkley isn't worried about what ESPN thinks. Dares them to fire him. Can I say Okay, yeah, it says, can I say Miami had a great year? Barkley jokingly asks. I don't want to talk about all these. I don't want all these punk ass reporters and clowns talking bad about me like they did that lady in Jacksonville who had a moment of humanity. Barkley, of course, is referring to Jacksonville's Free Press reporter Lynn Jones, who went viral for praising Jacksonville's Jaguars head coach Liam Cohen mid-press conference after the NFL defeat to the Buffalo Bills in the wild card round. Think about that, Dan. Jacksonville had a great year. They won 4 games last year. And we got so many punks on television and radio now because I don't get on these social media stuff, but I started looking at it. It was a big story brewing. Is this woman serious? She's supposed to be a journalist. He says, have we got to the point now where you have to be an idiot or fool or jackass to be on television or podcast or something now? When asked a follow-up question about how his higher ups at ESPN are reacting to him calling out reporters and the media, Barkley didn't shy away. They can fire me. I've got 7 years on my contract. I'm 100% retired. But if I can do something just a little bit stupid, so they have to fire me, they'll have to pay me for the whole 7 years. Yeah, this is pretty much going exactly how I thought it was going to go. This is pretty much going exactly how I thought it was going to go. The show hasn't had the same impact. In previous years, you could make an argument that Inside the NBA was the most talked about NBA show in a regular season. They had the most memorable moments. More memorable moments than First Take, Skip and Shannon. They were the number one. They were the number one. Now you can't even think of any any standout moment that these guys have had this year. Maybe they've had a moment here, maybe a moment there. And it's not the same. And I don't care as much. And the problem is, man, you're working with ESPN, the worldwide leader, but it's a different audience, man. ESPN's viewers are not, your typical viewers that you would have at TN. I just believe ESPN, they have a certain type of fan base that watch their content. I'm being serious, and I'm not surprised. You can clearly hear in his voice that this guy is fed up and he doesn't want to be there. That is 100% clear. He doesn't want to be there. He doesn't want to be there. He's just saying, for you to say, fire me, and I don't care, you can fire me, that pretty much says it all. He's daring them to fire him. Yeah, it's not working out just like I thought. You guys let me know what you think about it in the comment section. We'll catch you guys on the next show. Peace.